Should we have connected? It's one of the core questions raised in Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding 2. Players find connection in many different ways throughout this game, and none more so than with the Social Strand Service, the gateway which enables player interaction in the game world. I've been fascinated by this system throughout my playthrough of this game, and I really wanted to learn more about how players connect to each other. So, in today's video, I'll be exploring this system step by step, understanding how it works, and finding the best ways for me to earn as many likes as possible. I'm giving myself a week to figure this all out and see how many likes I'll have at the end of it. So come with me on the path to understanding the Social Strand Service. Before we dive into the activities, let's cover what this system is. At a high level, it's a social network within the game that enables players to connect to each other. It's displayed to you in various ways throughout the game, and you can monitor most activities within the game's menu. While playing the game, you can view other players' activities or structures and send likes to them to show your appreciation. For example, if I place an object down in my game, it has a chance of being placed in someone else's game world, so they can make use of it on their journey. They can like it, which adds to my total amount of likes. Think of it like a cat picture on the internet, except you can't comment. The system is quite dense, so I'm going to cover more of it as we go. So, on to day one. My plan for today was quite simple. I wanted to get a basic understanding of likes by putting a few bridges in locations that I thought would be helpful for other players. If they used them, maybe they'll like them? I placed bridges in locations that I had difficulty traversing in the opening missions of the game. I also tested placing a couple of bridges beside other structures that had a few thousand likes on them. I figured if other players are getting lots of likes, maybe I would too. How I'll be measuring success is when I log in after a day of making these changes, I'll check how many likes appear on my screen. Since I'd already been playing the game, my baseline was about 110 to 115 likes per day before doing anything additional, and these bridges added absolutely nothing to it. I guess they weren't useful, but I'm not really sure. Undeterred, I proceeded on to day 2. Since I'd already built a few roads during my playthrough and had consistent likes coming from them, I figured a good thing to do would be to finish out the entire road network. You see, Death Stranding 2 has a preset road network which connects almost all major bases in the game. They're built by contributing resources to a road paver, which, when complete, creates a route which connects to other nearby key locations. These roads are consistently shared across different game worlds, and since many people drive in this game, I think it would be a consistent way to get likes. To complete the network, I had 14 roads left to build, and to do this, I would need 22,000 ceramics, 18,000 metals, and 10,000 chiral crystals. Since I could buy ceramics and metals with chiral crystals, I'd actually need 15,000 extra chiral crystals, making it 25,000 chiral crystals that I needed. At first, I didn't know where to get these crystals, but eventually I found 2 locations nearby the architect and the animal shelter that spawns these little golden blobs which, when shot, give about 800 to 1000 crystals per kill. Overall, this took about 3 hours, since the spawn of these creatures was a little inconsistent, but I finally had the 25,000 I needed to begin the next stage of this process. Trucking. I toured around the entirety of Australia multiple times, building all the roads, pondering life's existence, and transporting all the resources I needed. I toured the game world in 2 phases. The first was to get all the ceramic I needed for the road pavers, and the second was to get all of the metal. Since I couldn't carry all the materials I needed at once, I had to go back and forth from the mines multiple times. And after about 6 hours total work, I was done, and the entirety of Australia was now connected through roads. After such a long day with so much coordination and effort, this felt so satisfying to achieve. I finished the day putting down a few signs around starting locations of the game because I had a hunch of what my next steps would be. After all this work, I had to see some improvement, right? The successful construction of every road in Australia was getting me almost 5,000 likes per day when I log into the game, which is great. But that still seems quite low, given some people seem to have 1, 2, even 4 million likes on their profiles. They must have done more than just put a few bridges and complete a couple of roads, right? Right? Let's move on to day 3, a day of maturity and improvement. As I mentioned yesterday, I had a hunch of what my next steps would be. And to do that, I need to let you know about another thing I've come to understand about the Social Strand Service. As I said previously, when you place an object in a world, it has a chance of appearing in another player's world. But there's more to this. Since multiple of the same object can be placed at the same location, the system needs to decide what objects it wants to show to you. To do this, it prioritizes showing objects from people you have created a strand contract with. This is displayed as a connection level. The higher connection level you have with the player, the higher chance each other's objects will show in your worlds. So I need to make myself useful and encourage other players to form a strand contract with me. By boosting my connection level with them, they might want to. It makes sense why no one used my bridges earlier. No one actually saw them. You build connection level with any form of interaction. Liking signs, using objects, driving on roads, delivering cargo, and doing aid requests. At the time, I only really knew about building structures as a way of building interactions with other players. So that's what I did. So I spent today building as many bridges, generators, and timefall shelters in as many locations I thought were useful. I even went to the effort of building out an entire zipline network across the big mountain.
All you do all day is go on the zip line.
Collectively, this took about 6 to 7 hours worth of work to do, since I still had to get all the resources, skate the locations, etc. People love ziplines, right? No one used my ziplines at all. Not even once. What the hell? No one likes my ziplines. And the same for the majority of things I've put down. That being said, I did see an improvement. We've gone up to about 8,000 likes when we're logging in, which I see as a net improvement. We're definitely moving in the right direction. The problem I seem to be having though, is that I'm not getting enough people building a good social connection with me, which means while the buildings I'm placing are useful and awesome, people aren't getting exposure to them. Unfortunately, it seems like all of the methods I've done so far haven't been giving me the results I wanted. You think it's easy when you see a bridge with 500,000 likes or something, but it looks like what I need to do is to begin engaging with every mechanic that is available to me in the game. What's left for us to do is to saturate the network. One mechanic I haven't talked about so far is aid requests. These are player-created requests that can have varying objectives, such as give a weapon, clothing, resources, or even kill an enemy. For supply requests, you put objects into a circle and send them to a player who requested it. In return for completing these requests, you gain a few likes and sometimes an increase in strand connection. I'm going to use every system available to me in this game to hoard as many likes as possible, answering all aid requests I see, giving them one piece of gear at a time, taking lost player cargo I see and delivering them to their destination, putting down as many signs as possible, entrusting my cargo to other players, finding more useful places to put down structures, and liking absolutely everything I see. I figured the more I engage in every system this game has to offer, the more likely players are to interact with me, the more likely I'll build a connection level with them, and in turn, start showing my objects in their world. I spent the day walking around the game world doing as much as I can. After day 4, 8.9 thousand likes a day. Did any of that work? I don't know. I did have some success. A couple of the bridges I've built seem to be getting used quite a lot, but I still wasn't getting the huge volume of likes I wanted. I wish I could say I only spent 1 week in this and you could all applaud me for my self-restraint, but I ended up spending almost 2 weeks hunting for those likes, and I'm sorry for lying to you at the start of this video. The obsession with getting as many likes as possible began to consume me, and I tried to find every ethical way of getting them. The following days were very similar to what I did in day 4. I figured it'll take a while before the strand connections start reaping rewards, but I found 2 additional funny methods to get likes. Okay, I came across this by accident, and it turns out the game doesn't reward you for the quality of item you send to people in aid requests, but how many items you send. So I started sending multiple pairs of shoes to each aid request I saw. I found out if you give 10 pairs of shoes to another player, you'll get a 2-star connection with them and 500 likes. And Woodbore Soul received 100 pairs of shoes from me. This got me to a level 4 connection with them and 5,000 likes. This didn't seem like it was intended. I also started putting structures in locations that were less likely to have structures from other players near them. Generators, bridges, timeful shelters, anything I could think of in any place I could find. I brought the people of Australia, the monorail network.
What I say? Monorail!
Which is similar to the road network. I was obsessively checking my progress every single day. My left thumb hurts from hitting the like button so much. And that brings us to today. I've put in so much effort in so many ridiculous ways, this has to pay off. So after all of this, let's go over the results of everything that I've done. The time I've spent on this alone is about 50 hours in game. I've built 209 different structures. I've sent 695,000 likes to other players. I've completed 294 individual aid requests, and I've probably sent about 1,000 pairs of shoes to people. I've delivered 180 pieces of lost cargo, and in some way, shape or form, interacted with 3,200 other players. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, I got 573,000 likes from other players. It's not a million, you know, but like, it's still pretty good. I'll hit 1 million pretty soon though, I think. So the question for me is, how did players get millions of likes on some buildings or even on their profiles? From what I learned so far, players who have millions of likes likely did what I have done. However, as with all social media, it's likely that early adopters to the game had a better opportunity at gaining more likes than the other players that followed. Since in the past, there were less objects littered throughout the game world, there's probably a higher chance for their objects being shown with priority to other players during the opening days of the game. I wouldn't be deterred though. There's likely many locations still to be found that will reap millions of likes for you. I just happen to not find any, but that doesn't mean there are none. It's also worth noting that time could be a factor in the gaining of likes in this game. I might start getting a lot after this video, but I don't know. If you ever want to farm as many likes as possible in this game, I'm going to rank the methods that I felt were the most useful for me. Keep in mind, this may change over time as more or less players interact with the system. Start building connection level with other players, which gives you a better chance of them forming strand contracts with you. The ways that worked best for me were: start spamming likes at everything you see, revisit locations and spam the same structures multiple times, do the field wear and weapon aid requests and give them multiple items. This gets you likes and builds connection level. 10 shoes gives connection level 2 and 500 likes. Start returning lost cargo and entrusting cargo to other players. Obviously, building structures is a great way to get likes, and in order of priority, number 1, building roads. This was by far the best method that provided me with the most amount of likes. And on top of that, you have a new method of getting around the map, so it's a win-win. Just remember to keep it maintained. Number 2, building structures in more offbeat locations. This helps them have a higher chance of appearing in other players' worlds. This can be abused, and you will see many objects throughout the game world that have no right being there. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but there is a balance to strike. Number 3, leaving generators and timeful shelters in helpful locations, along roads, near bases, etc. This might not get you a huge amount of likes, but they are consistent, and I definitely recommend doing so. And finally, number 4, keeping structures maintained. If they fall below 50%, some of them will not be shown to other players. And that's it. Those are the core things I recommend if you want to get as many likes as possible. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing. It helps me out so much as I'm trying to get to partner at the moment. Otherwise, have a great day. I have another video coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but be sure to check in. Anyways, bye bye.